Are we all sadists? So I was watching Oz the Great and Powerful with my sister the other day, and I told her I'd pay attention for the first half, but after that I'd probably put on my headphones and watch Netflix. Having seen the movie before, I knew that I was only interested in the beginning and parts of the middle, and yet it wasn't until we reached a specific point that I realized why. It was this scene, the one where Theodora becomes the Wicked Witch. And I wondered, why do I want to watch that scene in particular? In my opinion, Mila Kunis's character was horribly written, and maybe I thought that this was the only scene where she could show off some actual acting skills, but no, that wasn't quite it. I wondered if I just really liked the fact that her tears burned like water melted the original Wicked Witch, but no, that's just a cool detail. No, I wanted to watch a character break down. I wanted to squeeze emotion out of a scene where a woman has her heart broken. Does that make me a psychopath? I don't think so, because so many movies have these types of scenes, and why would production companies continue to waste time and money filming scenes that nobody likes? So maybe the more important question is, why do we enjoy broken characters? Hello, my name is Lauren and welcome to the Theoretical YouTube channel. So, why do we like watching characters fall apart? Well, after mulling it over for about a week now, I've come to the following conclusion. We enjoy broken characters because we have an easier time relating to them. Think about it. Characters actually don't have that much time to show us their personality. We have maybe 2 hours to learn everything about someone who we've never met and likely doesn't even exist. Yet we're also being shown a significant portion of their life. A film usually captures either the best part of someone's story or the worst. In my opinion, the best stories can do both. It gives us a significant reason to care about them. For example, Good Will Hunting follows Will through complex periods of joy and grief. We relate to his pain and rejoice in his victory. But Will Hunting isn't exactly the everyman. I certainly haven't grown up in a bad part of Boston, and I am also not a math genius who worked as a janitor at MIT. I wasn't abused as a child, and I don't sabotage my relationships to avoid possible pain. I'm not even a 20-year-old man, and yet I still care about Will Hunting. A good movie will play on sympathy, getting you to feel sorry for the characters. A great movie will play off of empathy, getting you to feel as if you were one of the characters. Especially if you don't share life experiences with them. And one way to get an emotional response from your audience is to push a character too far. No matter what your life has been like, you will always have had a lowest point, the time where you just break down. Maybe it happened long ago or just yesterday, but there was always a time where you felt like this. We don't have to be Will Hunting to understand what he feels at this moment because we've all been there. But why would we want to watch that? If you were to watch someone completely break down in real life, you'd probably hate it. Believe me, it's horrible to see. But scenes where characters break down are some of the most memorable and praised for emotional impact. Why? Well, for one thing, characters have arcs. These scenes happen at specific times, usually around the climax. We have been on an emotional journey with them where tension has been building up the entire time. The moment of release is needed so that we're no longer feeling that pain. If we never snapped, we'd still be at the constant point of breaking. Catharsis is defined by Merriam-Webster as the purification or purgation of the emotions such as pity and fear, primarily through art. So there's a couple of key words here, one being purging. You're not merely wiping away the emotions, you have to experience them at peak potency in order to get the full effect. The other important term is art. This experience is horrible firsthand, but through a delicately constructed scene, Catharsis is able to relieve the tension through a controlled manner. The camera can be moved closer to establish a deeper connection, and pulled back to make sure it's not too intense. The shot can be held in a similar manner. We only cut when we need to. By doing this, we're able to keep the audience engaged without losing their interest. By utilizing the fact that we're fabricating a breakdown, we are able to control a usually uncontrollable situation. There's a scene in The Truman Show where this technique is satirized. By cutting to the makers of the show, the movie's audience is robbed of any emotional impact that their choices make.
And now, years wasted. I'll make it up to you soon. I swear.
Then, by showing us the in-movie audience, we feel manipulated on their behalf. It's really a brilliant scene. But I think a much more impactful technique has less to do with cinematography and rather with writing. Broken characters have a weakness that the film has to explore right up until the perfect moment of release. One of the more effective ways of doing this, I believe, is a character's repression of their feelings. By pushing down emotions deeper and deeper and deeper, the tension keeps building until it inevitably snaps. Until you let it go. The best example I could think of that illustrates this comes from one of my favorite movies of all time, Pixar's Inside Out. There are two major breakdown scenes in the film belonging to Riley and Joy, an emotion in Riley's head. Honestly, if you don't know the plot of Inside Out, this next part's gonna get super confusing. So the big moment that everybody remembers from this movie is when Riley reunites with her parents as sadness takes over the control board. But that's not really what I want to talk about. The main character with the most development in this movie is actually Joy. She's the one who learns lessons and becomes a better person. Riley is merely at the control of others. Her emotions make all her decisions. Therefore, she cannot be the main protagonist because she does not drive the story. Joy, however, checks all of these boxes and has her own breakdown scene prior to Riley's. But first, let's talk about Joy. Joy is the embodiment of happiness. She is an emotion, and her one goal in life is to keep Riley, herself, and others happy at all times, in that order. She spends the entire movie spinning things into a more positive light. She takes on the burden of leadership. She tirelessly yearns for her goal with every waking moment. Therefore, Joy learns to suppress all other emotions besides happiness simply because she doesn't understand their purpose. She sees value in her co-workers as a means to an end. Fear keeps Riley safe, disgust keeps her from being poisoned, and anger keeps things fair. For the majority of the movie, Joy doesn't even believe sadness has a purpose at all. She relegates her to the back and honestly believes that Riley would be better off without her. This is Joy's major flaw. Her repression of her feelings keeps her from being able to understand the people around her. For instance, when Bing Bong needs consolidation from a friend, Joy proves to be useless at cheering him up.
Hey, Bing Bong, look at this.
At this point, she just doesn't understand why he would need to feel anything but happy. She doesn't even understand why she would need to be unhappy. But that mentality breaks when she experiences a situation that she cannot find any joy in. She has lost herself. And this is the result. But it is only in this moment of vulnerability that Joy is finally able to realize that embracing her emotions is a healthy habit, not a shameful one. The song that plays during Riley's reunion is titled Joy Turns to Sadness, A Growing Personality. Joy has both figuratively and literally turned to sadness for the solution. While we understand that Riley is growing as a person, perhaps more importantly, so is Joy. She is finally able to somewhat drop the mask that has been partially cracked throughout the film. So, in order to fully transform a character like Joy, a full emotional breakdown was necessary. It is only an absolute weakness that she is able to see the truth and learn.
Sadness.
This transition and development was also effective because it took a strong character and made her more accessible to the audience. It's also partially responsible for the tears you shed with Forrest Gump at the end of his movie. Taking such a stoic character like Forrest, who we've seen dry-eyed through childhood bullying, losing his mother, being abandoned by the love of his life, and even having his best friend die in his arms, and having him cry once, is heartbreaking. It doesn't have to be a complete meltdown. We've spent so much time with Forrest that we understand how much this goodbye means to him, even if most of us don't behave like him. Perfect characters are boring, By making a strong character never show emotion, a film robs us of our full connection. We just don't understand them as well. I admit, I don't understand Theodora's character in Oz the Great and Powerful. Her motivation just doesn't appeal to me. But I do understand what it's like to have pain as though my heart was withering away. And if that's the only way I'm able to connect to this movie, I'm glad the filmmakers decided to use that scene. Yikes, I didn't even get to talk about Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix or Winter in the Lunar Chronicles. Anyway, if you like this video, be sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. This was a little bit different than our typical stuff, so if you enjoyed it, be sure to tell me about it in the comment section down below so that maybe I can include more of it. For more content, be sure to check us out on Twitter at @theory_central. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
These facts and opinions look so similar.